Hey, Jason here from Simply Swider. If you're finding gummy half-dissolved dishwasher pods stuck in your dispenser or sitting at the bottom of your tub, you're not alone. And your dishwasher isn't broken. In the next 10 minutes, I'll walk you through 5 simple fixes that solve this problem 95% of the time. Most importantly, these are issues you can fix yourself for under $20, saving you a $150 service call. Before we get started, if you run into any questions, jump into our Facebook group. Links in the description. We've got thousands of people helping each other fix their appliances, and I pop in there daily to help out. Here's what's actually happening behind the scenes. These pods need three things to work properly: hot water at least 120 degrees, good water pressure to hit that dispenser cup, and proper timing when that door opens. When any one of those fails, you get that gummy mess. Real world breakdown. Water temperature issues are the big one, probably about half the calls I get. Dispenser problems from user error or blockages are next. Then you've got spray arm issues, inlet valve problems, and circulation pump failures are the least common. So we're going to diagnose in probability order, not in parts shopping order. So the biggest culprit is water that's just not hot enough. I had this lady call me last month swearing her dishwasher was broken because pods weren't dissolving. Turned out she was using the eco cycle, which only heats water to about 110 degrees. These pods need at least 120 degrees to break down that plastic film properly. Here's what happens: that PVA coating on the pod is designed to dissolve at specific temperatures, and when it doesn't hit that threshold, you get that sticky, gummy residue. Another thing I see all the time: people don't run their kitchen sink until it's hot before starting the dishwasher. In the US, dishwashers connect to the hot water line, but if there's cold water sitting in those pipes, that initial fill is going to be cold. That's often the only time detergent gets dispensed. So cold water equals undissolved pods. Here's your quick 2-minute test. First, run your kitchen faucet on hot for 30 seconds until it's steaming. Then immediately start your dishwasher on a normal cycle, not eco mode. If your next load comes out clean with dissolved pods, you've solved it. Still having issues? Place a dishwasher safe thermometer in the tub and run a cycle. If water never reaches 120 degrees, your heating element or thermostat can often need replacement depending on the system. Another common cause is the dispenser door getting blocked or pods sticking to the cup. I remember this guy who called me, said his dispenser wasn't opening. I get there and he's got a big cutting board right in front of the dispenser door. Door was trying to open but couldn't swing out. Here's the thing: those dispenser doors need clear space to flip open, usually about 3 to 4 inches. Cookie sheets, cutting boards, tall plates in the lower rack, they'll block that door every time. Some people suggest avoiding touching dishwasher pods with wet hands or loading them into a damp dispenser cup to prevent handling issues. The moment that pod touches moisture, it starts dissolving and bonds to the plastic like glue. Before loading any pod, wipe the dispenser cup completely dry with a towel and dry your hands. If you see any sticky residue in the cup from previous pods, clean it out with warm water first, then dry thoroughly. And listen during the cycle. You should hear a little click when that door releases, usually about 20 minutes in. If the dispenser's opening and water temperature's good but pods still aren't dissolving, check those spray arms. Here's what I've learned over the years: even if water's hot and the door opens, if there's not enough pressure hitting that dispenser cup, the pod just sits there. Most common thing is clogged spray arm nozzles, seeds, bits of glass, hard water deposits. They plug up those little holes. I pull out spray arms and shake them. If you hear rattling, there's debris inside. Sometimes it's not clogs, but blockage, tall plates preventing the arms from spinning freely. Those arms need to rotate to create the pressure that scours out the dispenser cup. Here's how to clean them properly. Pull out the bottom rack, then lift or twist out the lower spray arm. Most just lift straight up. Hold it up to the light and check each hole for clogs. Use a thin wire, toothpick, or even a cake tester to poke through each nozzle. For the upper arm, you might need to remove the top rack first. Run them under hot water while poking out debris. Before reinstalling, look for any cracks along the seams. If you find any, the arm won't build pressure and needs replacement. Sometimes the issue is the dishwasher just isn't getting enough water to begin with. The inlet valve controls how much water comes into the tub, and when it fails, you get underfill. I had this customer whose dishwasher would run the cycle but barely had any water in the bottom. Pods may fall out of the dispenser but fail to dissolve fully if water temperature is too low or water flow is insufficient. Here's how to check. Start a cycle and let it fill completely, then open the door. Water should be just
Position the
below or
valve on the
touching the
frame
heating
and
element,
thread the
usually about
mounting
half an inch
screws to
deep. If
secure.
the tub's mostly dry, your inlet valve's either clogged or the solenoid's failed. Don't try to clean the screens on these valves. I've learned that one the hard way. Dishwasher pods can sometimes fail to dissolve completely. Just replace the whole valve assembly. The least common but most expensive issue is circulation pump failure. This is where the machine fills with water, but there's no mechanical action to dissolve the pod. I remember this call where the homeowner said the dishwasher was completely
Use a
silent during the
flathead
wash
screwdriver
cycle.
to help
Got
pry the
there, and
hose
sure
away from
enough,
the
it
inlet.
would fill,
Now,
timer would
carefully
count
pull the
down, but no
circulation pump
swishing
away
sounds
from
at
the
all.
sump. Use a
That
flathead
circulation pump
screwdriver to
moves
help.
water through the spray arms to create the washing action. When it fails, you get water but no pressure. Sometimes it's debris jamming the impeller, broken glass, bones, hair can lock up that pump. Other times the motor windings burn out or the capacitor fails. If you hear humming but no water movement, the pump's trying to run but can't. If it's completely silent and getting voltage, the motor's probably shot. Here's the reality check. Circulation pumps run $150 to $200 plus installation. If your dishwasher is over 8 years old or costs less than $400 new, this repair doesn't make financial sense. You're better off putting that money toward a new unit. However, if you have a newer or higher end dishwasher, this repair can add another 7 years of life, making it worth the investment. The water inlet valve runs anywhere from 20 to $60 depending on your model. This controls the fresh water coming into the tub, and when it fails, it's usually the solenoid going bad or sediment clogging the internal screen. You'll know it's bad when the dishwasher underfills. Water level stays way below the heating element. Don't try to repair these. I've seen too many people attempt to clean the screens only to have the valve fail a week later and sometimes leak, causing water damage. It's a straight replacement job. Difficulty wise, it's moderate. You're dealing with 120-volt connections and water lines. So if you're not comfortable with that, call a pro. The circulation pump is your big ticket item, usually runs between $100 and $200. This is the heart of the wash system, forcing water up through those spray arms. When it fails, you'll hear either complete silence during wash cycles or humming with no water movement. Sometimes it's just debris jamming the impeller, which costs nothing to clear out. But if the motor's burned out or the capacitors failed, you're replacing the whole assembly. On budget dishwashers under $400 new, a pump failure often means it's time to shop for a replacement, especially if the unit's over 7 years old. Dispenser assemblies run about 50 to $100. These have either a wax motor or bimetal actuator that releases the door at the right time in the cycle. Most of the time, when people think the dispenser's broken, it's actually user error, wet hands, wet cup, or something blocking the door. But if the spring's broken or the actuator's failed, it's a replacement situation. Good news is these are pretty DIY friendly, usually just a few screws and a wire connector. Spray arms are the cheapest fix, typically 30 to $50 each. Most of the time, you don't need to replace them. Just clean out the clogged nozzles with a wire or toothpick. But if they're cracked or have split seams, they won't build pressure even when clean. These are definitely DIY territory. They usually just lift out or have a simple twist lock mechanism, way cheaper than calling someone like me for what's essentially a cleaning job. All right, if you're dealing with faulty parts, let's talk about what you're looking at cost wise and when it makes sense to fix versus replace. Most of these problems have pretty reasonable part costs, but labor can add up fast if you're calling someone like me. Here are some common factors that can contribute to dishwasher pod dissolution problems. Now, before we wrap up, you can see right there on your screen some of the most common models that have these pod dissolution issues. Different brands have different patterns. Some default to energy efficient temperatures that are too low for pods, others have spray arm designs that clog easily. The key thing is understanding that this isn't really a model specific problem, it's more about how these machines are used and maintained. Here's your troubleshooting checklist. First, run hot water at your kitchen sink for 30 seconds, then start a normal cycle, not eco. Second, check that nothing's blocking your dispenser door and the cup is completely dry. Third, pop out those spray arms and clear any clogged holes with a toothpick. These three steps fix the problem 80% of the time. If you're still having issues, you're likely looking at a water inlet valve, heating element, or circulation pump, and that's when you'll want to weigh repair costs against replacement. Most of the time, one of the simple fixes will solve it and save you a service call. Remember, purge that hot water line before starting, keep the dispenser cup dry, and don't rely on those eco cycles if you're using pods. If this helped you get your dishwasher working properly again, hit that like button and drop a comment below. Let me know which fix worked for you. Really helps other people with the same problem. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We'll get this out to more folks who need to save some time and money. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.